So we've created a connection, and what we want to do is we're going to want to create a user who is going to wind up owning all of the GIS objects. Okay, and then we'll use that owner to basically create tables, etc. And then we're going to create some more users who are going to be able to use the data. Some of them we're going to grant the ability to edit the data, but we don't want everybody to be doing everything. You're going to find, well, I'll show you later, but when you create something, it's going to prepend your database, your table with the name of the user. So let's go ahead and create ourselves a geodatabase owner, and you can call it whatever you want. Let's see, what are we going to call this thing? Why don't you give it why don't you give it a name like BMR owner or something like that, and that will be the user that we will use. Now you can go into Postgres and create a user. It doesn't do everything you should do, so be sure that you can use the application to do this sort of thing. So I'm going to search on some tools. We're going to search on create user. I believe that's the name of the create database user, right? Like I say, don't create these with Postgres because there's some stuff that it doesn't quite do. The database connection, we've got to make sure that we're using the correct database connection. SD at BMR maintenance, and we're going to call this one, I'm going to call it BMR owner. Use your initials. Database user password. This will be basically you're going to be creating a password for this person. Like I say, in this instance I'm going to be making a password and username the same. Not a good idea. But frankly, in this class, I get tired of having to remember things. So right now, there is no role for him. We'll talk about roles in a minute. Go ahead and click on OK. Okay, so that guy is now a user. So right now, we are logged in as SDE. Let's disconnect from SDE as SDE, and let's create a connection to the same database, but this time using a different user, BMR owner, and same database. Okay. I'm just giving it a name. You see, as you can see, if you connect to many databases, then you're going to wind up with a lot of connections. So it's nice to have some sort of system for naming things. Okay, we'll go ahead and open this, and I'm going to go ahead and create a feature class. All right, and we'll just call this my first point FC, and make it a point. And next, and I'm going to do a search on Colorado. Let's see, what is it, 0502? Nope, that's not right. Colorado. Projected state plane. I want NAD 83 Harn US feet. It's 0501. I wonder why it didn't pick that for me. And I'm just going to go with NAD 1983 Harn. In this case, it really doesn't make much difference, but that's generally, oops, not there it is, central, not north. And we'll click next and accept this, and just give it a field, my first text field, and we'll make it text. 50 characters is fine. I'm only doing this just to kind of show you the nomenclature. So Remember in Access when we were doing, when you built a query and then you went and looked at the SQL associated with that query, sometimes it would literally have things like owner name dot my first dot table name. Well, this is the syntax, and different databases have different syntax, but this is like its full name, right? It's like when your mom calls you and she says, Bruce Michael Reagan, put that down, right? But usually they just call you Bruce. They call me Bruce. But so anyway, this is the name of the table and separated by dots. This is the name of the owner of the table, and this is the name of the database itself. This is Postgres nomenclature. So it's slightly different in Oracle, and it's slightly different in SQL Server. The important thing is that you have a table called MyFirstPoint feature class, and it has been created and it's owned by BMR owner. That's important because BMR owner is now the user who gets to decide who has access to this table. Okay.